Let's talk boundaries. Boundaries are super freaking important. And I like to explain boundaries as kind of the general rule of thumb for boundaries is you teaching people the parameters in which you want to be treated and how to be a good friend or a good anything in your life, whether it is a good boss or a good friend, a good family member, a good coworker, a good spouse, a good anything. We need boundaries to teach people how to be in our lives effectively, how to be able to be the best version of them for and us for them. Being able to say to somebody, I don't like this or I really like that, teaches them and shows them how to show up in a way that is going to benefit the relationship. The way that I like to explain this is imagine when you first start dating somebody. We all do this, everybody does this. You are in that lust period and you do things you generally don't normally do. You put your friends aside, you put your families aside, you are texting all the time, you are answering right away, you are giving up this thing over here to spend more time over here. And then time goes on and you're like, okay, wait, I just got to get back to life. Now I have to focus a little bit more over here. I've been kind of neglecting this and putting my time and effort into this, but I need it to even out. And instantly, the relationship component of this, people go, what's changed? Do you not like me anymore? Do you feel differently about me? Like now I'm not getting your undivided attention and I don't like that anymore, or whatever that is. And it's because we have given up something in order to get something without being able to explain or clarify that this isn't normally the way that I am. For me personally, I do a lot of things with my boys. My boys are not young anymore. They're in their mid 20s and they have children of their own. But I love doing things with my boys and my grandkids, and they come first above a lot of things in my life. And so when I first met my boyfriend, the biggest thing that I had to convey is like, this is really freaking important to me. And there might be times where we're doing stuff and I'm going to have to leave to help out over here, or there might be times where I can't join things or do things because I have commitments over here. If I didn't convey that from the beginning, then it gets really muddy when I'm putting all of my time and energy into this. And then all of a sudden I go, actually, can't do that anymore because I have this. I'm not coming because I have to do this. Then there's that confusion of like, why was it okay before, but it's not. And so then instantly people start to second guess, did they do something wrong in our lives? So it's easier, truly easier, if we just set the foundation from the beginning and we say, these are the rules, these are the things that I like, these are the things that I don't like. This is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm not going to do. This is what I will allow, and this is what I will not allow. The way to do that, first and foremost, you have to know what you want. You have to know what you like. You can like something today and then decide maybe my likes have changed, maybe my expectations have changed. And then you just come back to the table and tell them that, you know what, like I really like this. However, I'm starting to think a little bit more like this. And that's easier to say, and it's an easier conversation to have when you are used to opening up that communication. The other thing that I like to say about boundaries is boundaries have nothing to do with the other person. And I want to be very, very crystal clear here. Setting a boundary, you setting a boundary, does not mean that anybody in your life has to oblige. If I say, don't talk to me like that, it doesn't mean they have to do anything. It means that this is an expectation. And if you don't follow that expectation, I am going to have a consequence to that. I am going to do something as a result of a boundary. Setting a boundary is really just about you communicating something that you like, and it's something you're going to do in the event that the other person doesn't follow what you're asking. Here's an example of that. If I say, please don't call me at 6 o'clock because I'm sitting down to eat dinner with my family and I'm not going to answer the phone. I can't talk to you at 6 o'clock and I would really like to talk to you, so don't call me at 6 o'clock. Ever. I'm unavailable. And every day you call me at 6 o'clock. If I answer the phone at 6 o'clock, then me telling you not to call at 6 o'clock has now become irrelevant because you're calling and I'm answering and we're talking. So you're very confused about why I said, don't call at 6 o'clock. However, if I say, don't call me at 6 o'clock, and you call at 6 o'clock anyway, it isn't about you not calling or you calling. It's about then what am I going to do as a result of you doing what I've asked you not to do? For me personally, I just won't answer the phone. If I've asked you not to do it and you're doing it, I'm not going to answer you because I've already told you I'm unavailable. So I don't need to continue to explain that. I don't need to answer the phone and say, hey, I told you not to call. I'm just sitting down to dinner with the kids. I actually just don't have to say anything. I've already said, don't call. It's the same if I've said, please don't talk to me in this way. And you do. I can walk away from the conversation or not answer the text message or not return the voicemail or whatever. It is a me consequence. What am I going to do as a result of the other person not listening to what I've asked? Where I think we get lost in boundaries is that we think, I've told you I don't like this, or I've asked you to put your dishes in the kitchen and you didn't do it. And so then an argument is going to ensue because you didn't listen to me. And my boundary was that you needed to put stuff in the kitchen. Actually, that's not the case. If I've asked you to put your dishes in the kitchen and you don't put them in the kitchen, I won't wash them. I'm not going to go around the house and collect all the dishes before I load the dishwasher or do the dishes. I'm going to leave your dishes out. If you leave them on the coffee table all the time and I've asked you not to, I can take them from the coffee table and put them in to the other person's room. These are your dishes, you deal with it. And I still get to live in a clean space. There's a number of ways to deal with this, but it is a me consequence. What am I going to do as a result of you not doing what I'm asking you to do? It's not for me to argue with you and say, I've asked you 500 times not to do, or I've asked you 500 times to do, and you're not. Think about it like a game of tennis. I've said, please don't do this, and you've done it, and now I. Or I've asked you to do this, and you've not done it, and now I. It isn't for us to argue with the other person and try to get the other person to change, to understand, to do more or do less or do different. Do you see how that works? What are you going to do as a result of you telling somebody that you want something specific or you don't like something specific or you want to change in behavior and they don't do? It doesn't matter if it's a relationship, if it's with your child, if it's with your family, if it's with a coworker or a boss. If you say, I don't like this, and they continue to do and do and do, the question becomes, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep bringing it up? What are you going to do about it? It's a you consequence. It's not a consequence for the other person. This is where I think boundaries get misunderstood. I really want you to think about what types of things you can do as a result. For those of us who are parents, we always do these unreasonable, crazy things. And I think this is part of why boundaries get a really bad rap, is we say, if you do that again, you're going to be grounded for life. First of all, nobody's grounded for life. So that was totally unreasonable. But we can say, if you do that again, I am going to. It's a consequence for me. I'm going to do this. And what we are teaching our children or grandchildren or spouse or employer or anybody else is, this is how I'm treated. I say time and time and time again, we teach people how to treat us. Boundaries is the way in which we do that. And very much like a child temper tantrum, if you don't get my attention because you're flailing around on the floor, yelling and screaming, the odds are that's not going to be your go-to reaction every time you don't get my attention. But if I give it to you time and time again, what is the incentive for you not to throw a temper tantrum? What is the incentive for you to change your behavior? The next level of this is truly that I'm not interested in whether you change your behavior or not. If you want to be in my life, if you want to be a part of my circle in any capacity, these are the expectations. It isn't about me changing who you are. It's about me teaching you how to be in my circle, how to be a part of my life. And there is a little bit of a mind shift there. So I hope that is helpful. And I'll see you back when we talk about how to communicate in a way that is aligned to who you are.